so far.
And you know what I've noticed? And most of Chris Johnson's right hands have been, I call looping right hands. Now he's starting to mix up and shoot some of his shots to the center. Just like that one out.
That is a very dangerous cut above the left eye for Rocky Juarez. It's going to affect the fight unless his cut man, Joe Chavez, can get it to stop within the next round or two. Good right hand by Juarez. John grins as he backs away.
For the most part, Chris John is still setting the tempo, and even when he gets hit with a good punch, he comes back and takes control. He will never let Juarez take completely control and get a good momentum to go on.
Left hand uppercut by John. He's got a lot of game.
He's undefeated in over 40 fights with a win against Juan Manuel Marquez, not to mention Derek Gainer and some others. And it's not an accident.
Hiroyuki Inoki of Japan, who may be a better fighter than a couple of the guys who have belts in this division.
Indeed.
Wow. I need you to be closer to him, man. Yeah. No, we cannot give him, we cannot let this guy have his run outside. We talked about this, right? Yeah. We got to out-jab, and when we get close, we got to outwork him. Lance, where was it?
All time. Yeah, all right. I was on the other side of where I was, so I didn't know if it was a headbutt or right hand.
Okay. Okay, Rock. Now listen. I need you to get closer to this guy, okay? Yeah. I really need you to work now, Rock. Okay? Huh? I got you.
Here we see the right hand that I believe was that opened up the cut, and it was a right hand, not a butt. A right hand right over the left shoulder perfectly, and you can see right after that, you can see Rocky Juarez react to it, and you can feel that probably was the punch that opened up the cut.
Okay, don't get this guy no room. I don't want this guy to have no room. I want you close. I want this up close. I want you in close with him, guy, okay? All right? Let's go. I want you to work, baby. Okay? You got it.
I want you to keep throwing that right hand and other hand right. Right hand, other hand right.
If there's a jab contest, John is determined to win it. He has thrown nearly 100 more jabs than Juarez so far, landing 57 out of 254. Averaging 50 jabs per round. Chris John. That, of course, is what set up the right hand that cut Juarez over the left eye. Between rounds period, I'm told, was a little longer than the normal 1 minute. Harold Letterman has an explanation. Why?
They call timeout when the doctor comes into the ring, and then they call time in when the doctor leaves the ring so that the corner gets a full minute to work on their fighter.
Only in Texas?
No. They do the same thing in California, Jim. A lot of states do that.
Like it?
They want the cornerman to get the guy, to have a full minute to work on a fighter. Ronnie Shields needed that minute to close Rocky Juarez's cut. It's a good rule.
You know, the more that I'm watching fights, and I'm beginning to believe that referees maybe should not be the one that determines whether a punch or a headbutt causes a cut, because in their job of refereeing, they really don't see. They should have to confer with somebody at the end of the round that's watching it on a monitor maybe.
I got two words: video replay. We've been down this this road before. So far, only New Jersey is using it.
Absolutely right. You know, Rocky Juarez, like Jerry Quarry, the heavyweight in the 70s, who was fighting in the Ali Frazier Foreman era, is a B+ in an era of A's. Barrera, Marquez, and maybe Chris John too. And here you see Juarez, the B+, trying his best to be the very best he can be to overcome the difference. Early on, it seemed like maybe he could do it. At this point, it looks like Chris John is really asserting himself.
And look at the quality of the guys that he's fought for each one of these 4 title fights.
Yes, a who's who of the golden era.
Incidentally, the initial returns on the cut work in Juarez's corner are very good. So far, this cut is not bleeding here in round number 6. But remember, it was opened in the first minute of the 5th.
Chris John has that kind of right hand that he twists at the end of the punch that can reopen that cut at any second.
Just caught him there with the right hand. Could cause the blood to begin to flow. Lawrence Cole's going to rule that a slip. Appropriately so, I believe.
He's punching down at Juarez with that twisting motion at the end of the punch, and it's a bad recipe for Juarez.
The danger for John is if he focuses too much on the cut and begins to try to hit the cut to the exclusion of other parts of his tactics, Juarez might start beating him to the punch. You can wait too much if you look to land the one punch in the right place. Good right hand by John again.
John is a very elusive fighter. His body movement and footwork is a little bit different than Juarez, and that's been a big difference at this stage.
Beautiful, beautiful, Chris. Beautiful. Keep throwing that overhand right. Keep throwing that right hand, the right hook.
What he's trying to do. But look, you got to get in there. You got to out-jab the guy. Then when you get close, you got to go to work, okay? That's all it is. Nothing more, nothing less than that, okay? Listen, this is a close fight, man. You understand? That guy's champion. You got to take that title from him, okay? Okay? You want this. I know you want this. You work your butt off for this. You understand? So look, like get out there. You got to get closer, okay? Close the distance. We can't have no distance with the guy. We got to be in close with him. You got to dig down now. You got to dig down, okay? This is your fight. This is your night, baby. Okay?
Coach is out.
How many times, night after night, have we seen Ronnie Shields in the position of trying to encourage a fighter who is in tough to rise to the occasion and do his best? And seemingly too seldom has it happened for Ronnie, who seems to be sometimes a bit of a hard luck trainer. Harold, how do you have it so far?
Okay, Jim. 5 rounds to 1. 59-55, Chris John. Jim, I got to tell you, he's just outworking Rocky Juarez. When Rocky gets in close, he doesn't move his hands. I mean, he gets inside, but he doesn't let his shots go. He's got to start scoring shots. In the meantime, John keeps working and working and working, using that left jab, like Max said, dropping the right on him. And, you know, he's got him busted up, and he's just outworking him in every round. 5-1 based on clean punching, Chris John.
Fascinatingly, and I wouldn't disagree with that score just based on what I've seen so far, but fascinatingly, my sense is that Juarez is fighting about as well as we've ever seen him fight.
I agree with you, Jim. I think he's fighting maybe the best fight I've ever saw him fight. It's just that he's got a guy that every time he gets set, Chris John punches, changes angles, moves in and out, and twists his upper body at a different angle, just like he's doing there, and he can't get his rhythm to go on.
Maybe with the exception of the first Barrera fight. I also wouldn't be surprised if the official judges' scorecards were a lot closer than Harold's. This is Houston, and as I mentioned, Juarez is a sentimental favorite in boxing anyway because he's viewed as a hard luck fighter.
Yeah, but I think the gap between them is growing, not shortening. And John is beginning to sort of do what he wants in there. And I think that becomes increasingly visible even to a biased judge.
Yeah. Although it wouldn't be surprising if some of the judges had the first 2 rounds to Juarez and maybe found another round since then to give to him.
I agree. And incidentally, in case you're wondering about the audacity of Chris John coming in here, he says on short money to fight Rocky Juarez in his hometown. I mentioned this win over Hiroki Inoki of Japan, a terrific fighter. That was in Tokyo. So obviously, he's not scared to go to your home court.
Gutsy for a guy without knockout power, Jim. Juarez doing some good work timing John at times with the left jab, I think. Clearly being outboxed, but at times timing John and catching him flush with the jab.
But here, again, being beaten to the punch.
And being outpunched.
Outpunched, too, also.
Time!
Juan Manuel Marquez now ranks in every credible ranking system as the number 2 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, just behind Manny Pacquiao. His 2 performances against Pacquiao were epic. In both fights, he won more rounds than did the Filipino star. So Juan Manuel Marquez, despite having lived most of his career in the shadows of Marco Antonio Barrera and Erik Morales, bigger name stars from Mexico, has emerged as close to the top of the heap as you can possibly get.
Okay? Let's go, baby. Come on.
He's turning southpaw on you. Lead with the right when he's turning southpaw.
I need you to put combinations together, though. You're giving me one shot. I need 3 and 4 shots, okay? Look, move your head. But as you're going in, use the jab. Okay? You got a jab?
Power punches through the 7th round. Chris John landing 89 out of 260. Juarez 53 out of 206. Chris John threw 110 punches in the 7th round, again stepping up the pace, and landed 37 of them, which is a pretty good clip. Now, you mentioned the stamina earlier, Max, and he's showing it as his pace